Morning, everybody. Apologies for not making any videos in the last sort of week. South Africa's had load shedding. If you don't know what load shedding is, it's when the government cuts the power to certain neighborhoods and certain areas, towns, cities, to stop the entire grid from collapsing. Total stuff up. So obviously that happens usually between 6 to 8 in the evenings, etc. So my gaming hasn't been what it should be. Luckily enough, today, this morning at about 8 a.m., the guys will come to install my second inverter and another 12 solar panels on my roof, so it shouldn't affect me anymore. Now, purpose of this video, we're going to talk about common callouts on maps which you might not know. So I've been playing on our South African Tarkov server every once in a while, and when I say the person's at Spine or something, somebody else might not know exactly where that is. So to the tools I recommend you use if you're new to Tarkov and you want to get to know the maps. One, mapgenie.io, and the other one is tarkovtools.com/maps. So we're going to quickly go through the maps. I'm going to call the areas which some people might actually say, be it XYZ, and then as a newer player, you know what they're talking about. So factory is small. There's not a lot you need to know about factory. On the woods map, which is personally one of my favorite maps, there's only one or two spots that's confusing. USEC camp will remain USEC camp. Scav bunker remains Scav bunker. But abandoned village sometimes is also called sunken village. We call it sunken village. So if I tell you, listen, go to sunken village and look for gold chains or bronze lions, etc., this is the area that we talk about. It's unmissable, and that I've made several videos on the cultist spawns at the sunken church as well. So that's what we call sunken village, but it's also known as the abandoned village. This is Scav town. We call it Scav village. The only two other places that I can think of that is confusing to people, Sniper Rock is also known as Dick Rock. We call it Dick Rock because if you sit and snipe up there, you're pretty much a dick. And then the game or the maps call this Lookout Rock. We call this entire area Spine. So if you are in the new sawmill, and I say to you, look towards Spine, there's somebody coming down from Spine, this is the area that we mean, not the up here by the sniper or anything. Or if I say to you, look towards Dick Rock, there's somebody there, then that's where we mean, by the Sniper Rock. Attachment cabin remains attachment cabin. All the other areas is fine. Sometimes military camp is also referred to as UN camp. And yeah, great place to farm scavs, etc., and get medical supplies fairly early on. So that is pretty much woods. Customs is kind of confusing, and I just want to hide all of this sort of stuff. These areas, you can trailer park and crossroads is fine. This is a storage area. Everybody calls this customs building Big Red. You'll see it's there, Big Red. Trailer park remains trailer park. We call this main bridge as well and junk bridge, so there's no confusion about it. On the maps, this is called Crack House, and we also call it Crack House. So if you are confused as to what Crack House is, this is Crack House. Everybody will always call it Crack House. The skeleton is this entire set of buildings here that hasn't been finished. So if I say to you, there's people over at Skeleton, please get to know it. That's the area. Fortress is this other uncompleted building where a Sherlock can spawn. There are mounted guns that you can use. Then Old Gas, we just call this Old Gas. It's Old Gas Station, but we just call it Old Gas. It's an extract for PMCs. Get to know it as well. One of the things is Fortress has ZB13 at the bottom as an extract, and the power for ZB14 is right here by warehouse 4. So if I say to you, go flick the power for ZB14, that's what I mean is right here. New gas it's the new gas station there. That's where the ambulance lights and stuff is. Sniper Ridge remains Sniper Ridge, or we'll just call it there up on the ridge on the left side. Not too confusing over there. And then obviously ZB11, ZB12, the extracts. So the big ones that you need to know, and dorms remains dorms. You've got 3-story and you've got 2-story. So if I say it's on the top floor 3-story, you should know exactly where it is. And then bus. Biggest ones here is ZB13, which is obviously under Fortress and the power for it, as well as Skeleton and Crack House. Get to know those locations. Interchange isn't a difficult map. The main important part with Interchange is obviously just to get to know the actual map fairly well. We'll say Oli. Oli is the green store, and Idea is the blue store. So get to know the areas within Oli and within Idea. Oli has couple of computer places, a couple of offices at the front here. There's not too many difficult call-outs or something. The other thing to get to know on Interchange, if you're going to play this map a lot, is actually the store names. So the ones that are super contested usually is on the bottom floor, Texo and Rasmussen, and that's because they have tech spawns in it, graphics cards, high valuable things, military cables, Tetrises, etc. This thing called Dom, we call it furniture as well, because it's a furniture store, so get to know it. Kiba is the locked one, and then obviously Goshen, which is this big store at the back. Run into Killa there quite a few times now. The Emercon medical facility. So there's not a lot you can say. When we call about power, or we talk about power at Interchange, it's the power station at the back, and there is a vehicle extract as well, and quite a lot of scav spawns there as well. So that is pretty much Interchange. There's not a lot of things you need to know about Interchange. Shoreline's a simple map to get to know. It was one of the first maps that I got to know and play on. It was one of the first maps I got my shit kicked in. And you'll either start at any one of the PMC spawns, or you'll have the God tier spawn, which is back there, and then you can just run. So get to know which side is east and west in the resort. That is super important. Helicopter right at the front there, bus terminal, we all call it bus terminal. Rock Passage is the extract at the back, and then bunker at Rock Passage. So it's called North Bunker here, we just call it bunker. Here, the power station here, we call it HEPS for hydroelectric power station, and because there's a HEPS key there. Super important is the Pylon Ridge. We call it Pylon Ridge. I literally killed somebody here, should have born in heaven kill, from that spot across to there, was it 2 days ago on the weekend? 159 meter headshot. The other one is just normal spine. This is normal spine. Scavs can spawn here as well as cultists. That used to be my main cultist farming spot until some RMT farming person started targeting me all the time, and that became no longer. We call this blue wall. So this is actually where the crane is, but we just call it blue wall because there's a big metal blue wall over there, and then CCP temporary. So not a lot you need to know about it. Scav Island remains Scav Island, and tunnel, etc. The lab has very few callouts. I'm just going to undo the loot here. But basically you'll have, if you play labs, you need to know where parking is, parking exfil, where the raiders spawn, and then you'll have recreation, you'll have the main working area, and then get to know where the actual blue, red, green, black, yellow, and violet rooms are, because if you get trapped there, you need to tell them, listen, I'm trapped in red or I'm trapped in blue, and whoever plays with you will know exactly what that is. I'm not a labs player. I don't particularly like the map. There's way too many wall hackers and cheaters there. Then Reserve, arguably my second favorite map on the game lately. Get to know the signs here, because we do call it out on that. If you're a new player and people say they're in black pawn and you're going, what the fuck is black pawn? The building has a big black pawn painted on it, the big white pawn painted on it. Also, get to know the chest pieces. I get completely and utterly confused sometimes in the heat of battle, and then I'm like, black horse, black horse, black horse, and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's no one with a black horse. So get to know your chess pieces. Then there's obviously white bishop and black bishop. Black bishop is also affectionately called drop down building, and if you're used to calling it black bishop and people say I'm going to go to drop down and you don't know what they're talking about, you run up here, up a fallen sign, go across, and then you can drop down into the building. Some of the stairways are a little bit blocked, etc., and you can't go underneath from this building. So it's affectionately known as drop down. Otherwise, people call it nose as well. And the reason they call it nose is because it's the nose of the helicopter facing it. So get to know it. This is nose or drop down building. Not much else. The other thing that people do get confused about is when we say K buildings. These three buildings on the actual tracks by the station is called the K buildings. That is the actual station. It's got the castle on it. We don't call it that. We just call it train station. And then bunkers. These are the two bunkers. And that is it for the maps. I really do hope that this is helpful, and I'll try and get some more content out the moment my solar system is installed. Can't wait. I'll have 2 5 kilowatt inverters with 2 4.8 kilowatt lithium ion batteries, and 9 plus 12, 21 solar panels on my roof. We're lucky in South Africa. We have a hell of a lot of sunshine, so power cuts and stuff shouldn't affect me. Now, folks, I hope that helped, and have a fantastic day further. Take care. Cheers.